This is music, and this is the return of the Fox God. Welcome to another First Impressions video. In these videos, I share with you my first impressions of the many blind buys I've picked up over the last couple of years. Let's get down to business. Up first, Artizan's Demon Rider. This is very melodic US power metal meets straight up traditional heavy metal, meets a little bit of progressive metal. The songs are very well composed. There's a good sense of melody throughout. The vocals are very smooth. This is a great Artizan album in my opinion. It's not as catchy as their previous albums though, but that doesn't make it a bad album. I really like pretty much all the songs on here. It's very interesting. You got Harry Conklin from Jack Panzer doing a version of the title track where he just sings the entire thing. And it's very interesting to hear what a difference a different singer makes. It sounds like a completely different song from the original version, which is the title track, of course, where the usual singer does his version of it. There's also some live stuff on here. So I think this is a great Artizan album, but if you're looking to get into Artizan, I would recommend picking up some of their earlier stuff. Up next, As Darkness Dies, the name suggests metalcore. The cover art suggests black metal, but this is straight up heavy metal of the modern variety. And that's actually quite refreshing to hear some straight up heavy metal, which is not new wave of traditional heavy metal. The songs are actually great, most of them. I really like the vocals. There's some nice riffs. Also a good sense of melody on here. There's a song called Far Away. It's a bonus track. That one is very different in style, so I don't know if it's a cover track. I hear a little bit of Judas Priest on the more regular songs. A little bit of Accept. A little bit of post-2000s Iron Maiden as well. Just a little bit. So it's very refreshing, I think, to listen to this, because it's not new wave of traditional heavy metal. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it's a pretty damn good album. I really enjoyed listening to it. I can recommend this for sure. Up next, Aurora Borealis, and the album is called Prophecy is the Mold into Which History is Poured. The hype sticker describes it as blackened death metal. To me, it's death metal, but you do have two vocal styles. I don't know if it's the same guy or two different vocalists. One style is death metal growls, and the other one is black metal shrieks. This is a barrage of blast beats. It's really intense. To the point that they reach the threshold where blast beats lose their intensity, to me at least. To me, if there are too many blast beats on an album, they lose their intensity and their power. What is really great about this album, though, is that there are lots of sections where they slow down to a mid-pace tempo or even a slower tempo, and it becomes groovier or riffier or even more melodic in places, and I really enjoy those. But if you like really intense blasty death metal, check out Aurora Borealis. It's time for the Fox God to make an appearance. And here's my usual disclaimer. I have nothing against Babymetal. I know no matter what I'm going to say now will make people angry. So, what can you do? Red Night by Babymetal live at the Nippon Budokan 2014. I picked this one up because a lot of kitsunes have told me that I should check out the live output by Babymetal, because the live versions are better than the studio versions of their songs, is what I've been told. So this one comes with a live CD and a live DVD. I've watched the DVD and I've listened to the CD. And this is from when they were still just little girls, so it's very early on in the Babymetal career. There's some things I really like about this. There's some things I don't like that much, and there's some things that are just neutral observations. So, what I really like about this, the instrumentalists, the backing band, they are amazing. I think most of them are also in Kadi band. You got some just rock solid drumming. You got some blistering, amazing guitar solos. The bass player is just awesome. He's got a 6-string bass with a scalloped fretboard, very jazzy style. The backing band is amazing. Another thing I really like is Symetal's voice. She's just a little girl here, but she already has an amazing voice. I really love her singing voice. It's very unique, very recognizable, and I think already here she is a great singer. She's one of the highlights of Babymetal just in general to me. And there are some songs where she just gets to shine and sing on her own on stage, accompanied by that amazing backing band. So she's great. I also like that their style of metal is very eclectic, so they include lots of elements from the metal world that I really like. Lots of power metal, lots of just straight up heavy metal, lots of a little bit of thrash metal as well, and a lot of progressive metal too. I also like that they use a lot of melodies and scales and conventions from the Japanese music tradition. That's something that appeals to me a lot too, just because it's interesting. So there are definitely a lot of things I like about this live album, but there are also some things that I don't like. I don't dislike them. They're just not my cup of tea because the style is so eclectic. They also draw on styles of metal that I just don't like that much. Metalcore, new metal, gent. There's an entire new metal song on here, and I don't dislike it. It's just types of metal that don't appeal to me. You know what I mean? You also have some, J-pop elements, and some of it is fine, and some of it is not fine to me. So I'm kind of, I don't have a problem with that element. Also, all the dancing routines and all that stuff, I have nothing against that. I was just never interested in choreographies and all that stuff. That's not to take anything away from the dancing. I mean, I would not be able to learn, let alone remember all these moves and choreographies, and certainly not at my age now, but back when I was their age that they're on here, no, I wouldn't be able to do that either. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm just not interested in choreographies in general. I know it's an integral part of pop music, so I understand why it's there. The whole kawaii thing, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't get it, and I think it has to do with cultural differences. So, it is what it is. I always feel a bit uncomfortable with children being pop stars and all that stuff because I'm always worried that they're not allowed to have a childhood. And I knew one of them later on falls off stage and hurts herself pretty bad, and it had some kind of mental health consequences, and she ended up quitting the band. That's why there were two of them. So that especially watching the live DVD and having that in the back of my mind, that made it a bit uncomfortable to watch actually. There's some things I don't like. I don't dislike him. I just don't like him that much. You know what I mean? And then some neutral observations. I think there's just a suspicion I have. I think there's still a lot of processing of Symetal's voice on here. I've heard, but maybe that's later on, that in the live shows you just get to hear her natural voice just singing without any effects on it, and I would really like to hear that. So Kitsunes, if you can recommend some other live release for me to check out where her voice is not processed, I want to check that out. I also noticed that with the backing vocals, I think there's a lot of playbacking. So I think a lot of the vocals are pre-recorded, and that's, I think, just to augment the singing, because these girls are running around on stage and dancing all the time. They gotta be out of breath, and this is a very common strategy in pop music, because dancing and choreographies and all that stuff is such an integral part of the show that they have to augment the singing so they just don't sound like people that are out of breath all the time. No, I don't have a problem with that. That's just a neutral observation. I did notice that, I think it's in Doki Doki Morning, they do the kind of fall asleep routine. They're still singing, but their mouths are not moving. And towards the end of the show, one of the backing singers just disappears. I don't know if it's part of the show or if she had a problem. But you still have two backing voices. So I'm pretty sure there's some playbacking going on. Like I said, I don't have a problem with that. Just neutral observations. I think the way I'm going to listen to this live album is I'm probably not going to watch the DVD too much, because it was just too uncomfortable watching, watching it, knowing what happens later on. I will say that it's awesome watching the backing band, and it's awesome watching just those parts where it's Sumitel and the backing band. And it's nothing against the backing vocals and the dancing and all that stuff. It's nothing against that. I just prefer those kind of parts of it. But I'm probably not going to watch it a whole lot. I'm probably going to listen to the live CD, and I will probably skip the songs that were not my cup of tea. So there you go. Very interesting listen. Overall, I did like listening to it, but I'd be interested to check out some of the more recent live stuff. Up last, another live DVD. I've only watched the main part of it because there's a whole bunch of things here. Maximum The Hormone, Jura versus Jura. This is an awesome show. Great live performance. They were running around on stage all the time, jumping, slapping the shit out of the bass, kicking the shit out of the drums, screaming the shit out of their lungs, riffing the shit out of the guitars. It just kicks ass. Amazing energy. Nice selection of songs. Great stuff. But what's really crazy about this is there's a storyline in the show. It's almost like participatory theater. The audience are given props, and they're divided into sections according to face types, and they're just they got plants in the audience, and they're telling a story, and it's just good fun. The audience are having so much fun on here. You can see that. They've inserted some kind of special effects after they recorded it, so you got clones of the guitar player popping up on stage. You got sperm cells all over the place at some point. Good fun. I really enjoyed watching this. This was so much fun to watch. And an incredible live show. They also have some dance routines here, but they're kind of like fun little dance routines, so I thought that was cool. The drummer is amazing. She's an inspiration to a lot of women in Japanese metal these days, so that's great too. So there you go. Some very interesting listens and watches, whatever. Thanks for watching.